Hello children, I hope you all had a lovely week and were able to watch our video lesson on Moses and the Ten Commandments. I also hope you got Mum and Dad to download the activity sheets. Did you enjoy them? Well, this week we are going to hear about Moses and the children of Israel wandering in the wilderness. Here we go. Hello everyone. Today's lesson is about the children of Israel and their wanderings in the wilderness. We'll be looking at Exodus chapters 15 and 17. The pillar of cloud led the people from the Red Sea into the desert of Shur. They travelled for 3 days without finding any fresh water. Then, when they came to a place with water, it was bitter and undrinkable. They named it Marah, the Hebrew word for bitter. The thirsty crowd grumbled angrily to Moses. "What are we going to drink?" Moses cried out to God for help. The Lord showed him a piece of wood, and Moses threw it into the water. Immediately the water became fit to drink. "If you listen and obey God," Moses declared, "He will keep you from any diseases He brought on the Egyptians. He is the Lord who heals you." The people then travelled through the desert to an oasis called Elim, where they found 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees. Here they camped by the water and rested. Then they set off from Elim towards Mount Sinai through the desert of Sin. In the desert, they became very hungry and started grumbling to Moses and Aaron. "In Egypt we had plenty of food," they complained bitterly. "You have brought us out into the desert to die of starvation." The Lord told Moses, "I am going to rain down bread from heaven for 6 days each week. On the 6th day, people should gather twice as much. On the 7th day, there will be no bread from heaven, as it is a special day for them to rest." Moses and Aaron announced, "God has heard your grumbling and is sending meat this evening and all the bread you need in the morning. And then you will know that He is the Lord who provides. Who are we? Your grumbling is not against us, but God." Aaron told the crowds to come before God. As they looked towards the desert, they saw the glory of the Lord appearing in the cloud. The Lord promised Moses He was sending meat that evening and bread in the morning. That evening, a large flock of birds called quail landed near the camp. The hungry people caught them and ate the delicious meat. The next morning there was a layer of dew on the ground, which dried up and became like thin flakes of frost on the ground. "What is it?" they asked Moses. The Hebrew word for "what is it" is manna. "This is the bread from heaven God promised." Moses explained, "Everyone should gather as much as they need. Don't collect more than you need and store it overnight." Everyone started gathering the "what is it" manna. It was like coriander seed and tasted like wafers made with honey. Moses explained they were to gather just enough for 5 days. Only the 6th day they were to gather twice more than they needed, as there would be no manna on the 7th day. Most people obeyed God and gathered enough food for that day. Some, however, were greedy, disobeyed God, gathered more than they needed, and stored it overnight. The next morning it was full of maggots and smelt horrible. On the sixth day, most people gathered twice as much as God had told them. On the seventh day, the extra manna was still fresh, and they could eat it. Some, however, went out looking for manna, but there was none. God has declared the seventh day as a special day of rest, warned Moses. Everyone is to stay where they are and rest. The Israelites travelled towards Mount Sinai. They were to eat manna every day for the 40 years they were wandering in the wilderness. When they camped at Rephidim, there was no water to drink. They complained and quarrelled with Moses, demanding, "Give us water to drink." "Why did you quarrel with me?" Moses asked. "Why do you test God?" Moses cried out to God for help. "What am I to do with these people? They are ready to stone me." "Go out to the people and take the elders, with you to the rock at Horeb." God replied, "Carry your staff with you and strike the rock." The leaders followed Moses to the rock at Horeb and watched as he struck it with his staff. Water burst out of the rock, just as God had promised. Everyone drank the water. Moses called the place Massah and Meribah because people had doubted God by asking, "Is the Lord with us or not?" In Hebrew, Massah means testing and Meribah means quarrelling. God had kept his promise and provided food and water in the desert. Goodbye, children, and I hope you enjoyed the lesson on the wilderness wanderings. Don't forget to download the activity sheets. Bye for now.